Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. Well, we're going to continue from where we left off yesterday with Jeet Kune Do lessons. And today, what I'm going to talk about are some of the common street holds that thugs use on their victims and how you can escape. So, some of these escape techniques were in a Jeet Kune Do book that was produced by Bruce Lee back in the mid 60s. In fact, I had that book in 1967. It was purchased in a little store at 8th and Webster. My dad bought it, and it showed Bruce Lee demonstrating in pictures how to escape common holds that are used, but not just common ones, but ones that can also prove very deadly, like a rear naked choke. I'm going to show you how to get out of there, and there's many ways to get out of there. Also, being grabbed from the front, being choked, and so we're going to get into that right now. And these are techniques that work for men or women. One of the first things that I want to start out with sexual assault. And we see a lot of women, unfortunately, being attacked by sexual predators and being dragged off and being harmed. And so, one of the things that you ladies can do, number one, a lot of you wear heels. Those heels are extremely dangerous. And where you want to strike the person, where they're not going to be looking, you're going to use the heel of your shoe, that stiletto tip. And what you're going to do, if they have you from behind or even from in front, you can still use this technique. So if they have you in a chokehold around your neck, you could still use this along with a Muay Thai a knee strike to the groin area. That is the number one effective area for women, and you want to use your knee strike with everything you have behind it, and you want it just straightforward right into the groin as hard as you can. And if you strike him correctly, it's going to knock him back at least 2 feet because he's going to be hurting. And then at the same time, what you want to do is take your foot and do a thrust kick at an angle into the knee, either knee, and that will either break the leg or tear ligaments. And then that way, that person will not be able to chase you down. Another solution for you ladies, which let me tell you, this one worked 100%. And I was very young, and there was a teenager who ended up being a rapist in my neighborhood when I was very young. And in fact, he broke into a neighbor's home in the area and tried to rape a woman during the day. And how she got out of that was, well, he tried to force her to give him a blowjob. Well, ladies, you got teeth. Pretend you're a pit bull, and when that piece goes in your mouth, yeah, she bit it off, and it was real easy for the police to find him because he left a humongous blood trail because it's a major artery, and he has to go to a hospital to stop the bleeding, to keep from bleeding to death. So, ladies, bite. And then if you're accosted from behind and they grab you from behind and have a rear naked chokehold on you, what you want to do, take your chin and push it as hard as you can into your neck here, as hard as you can, and get underneath or get behind that arm. And then what you want to do again, bite. take a big chunk out of there. Don't bite like you're just biting a banana. You're biting a steak, and you're going to take chunks out. You're going to take a huge chunk out. And the reason why I say you want to do that is because, uh, on the advice of doctors, the human mouth is the second most dirtiest, nastiest, germiest thing next to a Komodo dragon. And so bite them, bite a chunk out of them wherever. If it's an arm, if it's his sexual organ, uh, or anywhere near them, take a big old bite. And the reason why I say that is because he's going to end up having to go to the hospital, because that bite that you take, he's not going to be able to clean it up properly. It takes a hospital and antibiotics to fend off the nasty amount of germs and bacteria in the human mouth. So no matter what happens, he's going to end up in the hospital, and that's where the police and the hospital is going to be able to apprehend this person. So that's another escape technique. And then staying with the same rear naked choke. The purpose of a rear naked choke isn't so much to cut off your air supply, but it does happen because the bend in the elbow comes around the neck. But what you're really doing, if a person is really trained in a rear naked choke, what they're doing, they're applying pressure with your forearm and your upper arm. And the area that you're putting pressure is the carotid arteries. And what you're doing, you're stopping the blood flow to the brain. And so the thing about that, it's extremely dangerous, because if you hold that hold too long and cut off the blood flow to the brain, you can actually kill the person. And we've seen it happen. And we've seen police officers kill people with a rear naked choke. That's why it's a banned hold right now, because people who aren't trained in this are killing people. And so, but the thing is, once that hold is applied, you have 8 to 10 seconds before you are likely to black out. And so the first thing you want to do, get that chin down as far as you can and underneath the assailant's arm, and bite. That's your first option. Your second option, stomping the metatarsus bone on one of their feet, especially you ladies. If you have heels on, it's an extremely effective, because you're concentrating all your force into a tiny space about that big. And the likelihood of you breaking the metatarsus bones on the foot is highly, highly likely. And by breaking the bones on it, number one, it's extremely painful, the metatarsus bone. And number two, that person can't chase you. So consider that option. The other option, an option that Bruce Lee used, was when you're being choked, and you're going to use your elbow and bring it down low and line it up with the person's rib cage, right at the very last, the bottom rib bone, if possible, and the solar plexus. And then what you're going to do is just take that elbow and have it low, and turn your body hard. You have to turn it really hard to drive the elbow into that rib area. That usually breaks the hold, and that's an effective way. And you can also use it in conjunction with the foot stomp to the metatarsus. So a double whammy. So elbow to the ribs, foot stomp to the metatarsus on the foot. Guaranteed that person is going to let go. Another way to get out of that rear naked choke, this is going to grab the person's goodies. You're going to just reach down right behind you. You're going to put your hand right on your butt, and you're going to feel for your assailant's parts. Once you have that, clamp down as hard as you can, twist. Yeah, that's going to be a big surprise for your assailant, and it's also going to put them down because you twist hard, you grab. The grabbing is going to get his attention real quick, and you want to grab real fast because he's going to try and back away, and that's the purpose of the twist, because that's going to create the pain. That's going to make him back off. Once you have that, you have the option to run, or number two, while he is momentarily uh, distracted with the pain, you can go back once again and kick him in the same place and also take out a knee. That's what I've done in the past. And you take out the knee, you break the leg, you tear the ligaments of that leg. They're not going to be bothering you. They're not going to be chasing you. In fact, they're going to be screaming in pain and laying down, more or less, because they can't run. You broke their leg. And so those are a couple of things that will help you with escaping some of the common street holds. Another one that is very common, like I said, where they have you by the throat and they're just choking you. This one is a real easy one. What you want to do, if they have you like this, don't panic. Number one, do not panic. Keep your frame of mind. What you want to do, put your hands together down low, shoot up. And you see the angle of my hands? That's going to force those arms to go out, and that breaks the hold there. And at the same time, when you go up, a knee thrust to the groin area, and again, attacking one of the knees. That buys you time and space, and that's the most important thing. Time and space is what you want to create with those. Another one, if you're being attacked and and the assailant is trying to carry you off, become a wet noodle. Have you ever seen a wet noodle on the table and you try and push it? The only thing you can do is kind of drag it. Ladies and men, children, do the same thing. Practice being a limp noodle. It is extremely difficult to carry or move a person from when they're doing the wet noodle, and that's one of the best things. Another thing, while they have their hands here, take your fingers, take your hands up and up, and then around. You lock their hands inside of there, and then once you have their hands locked, just take your fingers, poke them in the eyes, both eyes, and that'll temporarily blind them and definitely takes them out of the fight. Two fingers poked right into the eyes. You don't have to have much strength. It doesn't take much to cause this. And at the same time, while you're going in, twist, and then that way, if the eyelids are being pressured shut, this opens them. Just that little twist opens those eyelids, and that puts your fingers right in their eyes, and you want to jam it in there as hard as you can. And ladies, you have daggers on the end of your fingers, so you can actually take out their eyesight with this. That's it, right in the eyes. So hopefully that helps you. These are some very common ways of escape for some of the very common street holds that the criminals and thugs use on people. In our next episode, I'm going to talk about how to spot yourself being targeted. Thanks for joining me. We'll be right back.